All right, everyone, welcome back. We are going to be continuing with our discussion on the 5 themes of geography. So let's review real quick. Our 5 themes of geography. We have location, movement, human interaction, region, and place. Yesterday, we talked about location. Do you remember the 2 types of locations that we talked about? We talked about relative location and absolute location. So just a reminder, relative location is when we're describing something in relation to something else. So maybe you say, oh, the park is right down the street north of my house. Or maybe you say, the soccer field is behind the school. That is relative location. It's not the exact location, but you're saying about where it is. We also talked about absolute location when that is you giving the exact location of a place. Maybe you're using a coordinate graph or maybe you're using somebody's address, but you are giving the exact location of a place. Today, we are going to talk about one of our 5 themes of geography, place. Say place. Perfect. So, place describes what a location looks like. I'm going to go ahead and read through our section here, then we're going to dig a little deeper into what place is. The theme of place refers to how we describe what a location is. This theme includes the physical and human characteristics of a place. How is one place different from another place? Places have different physical characteristics. The physical characteristic of a place might include a forest, mountains, oceans, and rivers. The characteristics of a place are part of its natural environment. So every example that was just listed above is part of the natural environment. So an example up there, it says forests, mountains, oceans, rivers. All of these items are found in nature. So these are our physical characteristics of a place. Landforms, bodies of water, climate, soil, biomeans, natural vegetation, and animal life are all part of natural environment of a place. So look at the pictures right here. I'm going to zoom in here. Take a look at what physical characteristics you might see. Let's look at this top picture here first. What is a physical characteristic you might see here? Well, I notice there's water. So this body of water is a physical characteristic in our picture here. I also see sand, lots of sand dunes along the water here, and also vegetation, our green vegetation growing up from the dunes here. So that could be some physical characteristics of that picture here. Let's take a look at our next paragraph. The human characteristics of a place come from the human ideas and interactions people have with their environment. People make choices about where to live and how to meet their basic needs based on the physical characteristic of a place. So what that means is when we go to pick where we want to live, we are most likely going to pick a place that is easy for us to live in. We don't want to live somewhere that is difficult, that it's going to be difficult to have our needs met. What are our needs as humans? Well, we need food and water and shelter in order to survive. So when we go to look for a place to live, we're looking for a place that can fulfill those needs for us. Let's look at this picture here. What human characteristics do you see in this bottom picture? I see quite a few. I see tall buildings in the back of this picture. I see sidewalk. I see chairs and benches. I see a railing. I see in the background, I see a very long bridge and some more buildings. Those are all physical characteristics of humans because these are items that humans have put in this place to help them survive and to help them live their lives there. So I'm actually going to zoom back in after we just talked about the human characteristics. I'm going to zoom back in. Take a look at the physical environmental characteristics that you see here. What do you think are some of our environmental characteristics? We just went over the human ones. If you said items like the water, trees, and our grass, that would be our environmental characteristics there as well. Nice job. So we are going to dig a little deeper into place by looking at this T-chart here. We are going to be looking at physical characteristics, and this is in, let me turn my pen on here. I'm going to add in nature. Let me fix my U there. There we go. So physical characteristics in nature, and then we're also going to be looking at the human characteristics in this photo. So I want to zoom in, and I'm going to take a second to pause here. If you need to pause the video, you can. See if you can figure out which items in this photo are human characteristics and which items are physical characteristics in nature. So I'll zoom back in, pause the video if you need to, if you need more time to think about it. All right, so let's go ahead and go over some of these together. Let's start with physical characteristics in nature. So if you're looking at this picture here, what is a physical characteristic from nature that you see? If you said a body of water, that would be one physical characteristic that we see in nature. What else do we see here? I see trees. I'm going to say lots of trees, because trees would be another physical characteristic in nature. Let's zoom in. What else do you see here? You can't really see it that well, but I know there are fish in this lake. And we know that animals, not humans, but animals, are part of our physical characteristics in nature. So I'm going to add fish and birds. There's probably more different types of animals in there, but those are the two that I'm going to mention. If you zoom in, you can also see grass along the shore here. So I'm going to add in grass. Oops. I'm also going to add in algae to our photo here. Oops. I think that's correct. Uh-oh. Can't zoom out there. Okay. All right. I'm going to pause again. Take some time to see if you can see any human characteristics now in this picture here. Pause if you need more time. And I just realized I did spell algae wrong. There we go. If you needed more time, you can pause the video right here. But we are going to move on to the human characteristics that we see now in this image. So, first one I see many houses. Humans use houses, of course, for shelter and to live in. This keeps us safe from the environment outside. What other human characteristics do you see? If I zoom in here, I see a dock on many of these houses. Docks. And near those docks, I also saw chairs. Maybe chairs to sit out in the sun. Oops. And I'm also looking on the lake itself, and I see some boats in the water. I see some boats. And there are many more examples throughout here, like cars, and I see different toys in the yards here, but those are the big ones that I'm going to talk about here. Because really, I just want you to see the main difference between the physical characteristics that we see within nature and within our environment. Think about those as things that humans did not put there. So humans did not put all of those trees there. They were formed in nature. Think about those items that were formed from nature. Human characteristics are items that humans have brought in to help them survive in this environment. Okay? Those are all of our examples there. Of course, there are many more, but that's all we're going to go over for that one. When you are done with this video, you are going to go into your assignment here. This is called place. The directions say look at the locations below. Pay close attention to the characteristics seen on each photo. Then answer the questions in complete sentences based on the photo. So we have 3 photos here. We have Egypt in one. We have Greenland in another photo. And we have the United Kingdom in this photo here. Different parts of these areas could look different, but this is just a couple of screenshots that I found to represent these places. So question 1, name a physical characteristic that you see in Greenland. So in Greenland, tell me a physical characteristic that you see in Greenland, and make sure you use complete sentences. You could say, the characteristic I see in Greenland is, and then explain to me the physical characteristic. So thinking back to our other page, our physical characteristics in nature, you can come back to this example and pause it if you need help. That's question 1. Question 2, name a human characteristic that you see in the United Kingdom. So this picture right here, name a human characteristic that you see. So something that humans have brought in this area to help them survive. Next question, this should say question 3 and question 4. I will fix that before you guys see this assignment. Question 3, which place of the 3 above do you think would be most difficult for a human to live in, and why? So take a look at these 3 photos, and I want your opinion here. That means you might not have the same opinion as someone else, but what do you think? Which place of the 3 above do you think would be most difficult to live in? And you have to tell me why. So you should have at least 2 sentences here. For example, I think blank is most difficult to live in, period. I think this because, and finish those sentences. You should not have less than 2 sentences for that question. As well for our last question here. Which place of the 3 above would you like to live in, and why? So for example, I would like to live in blank. I would like to live here because, finish that sentence. So your last 2 should really have at least 2 sentences. Your first 2 questions should have 2 as well, but you could probably get it done with 1 sentence there. Okay? So make sure you are filling this out. If you have questions, reach out to your teachers. And you also have another video that you are watching today, so make sure you're watching those extension videos to help you out.